behind the scenes with future country rock blues kings and queens. Discover them first with Palm Mash TV. Palm Mash TV.
Well, hello everybody, it's Palm Mash TV time again. We're glad that you could join us today. We got another great interview coming up for you in just a couple moments. But before we do that, as always, don't forget to click that subscribe button and click that bell. And you're always going to get the latest interviews whenever they're available. And be sure to leave a comment on the comment section. We'd love to hear from you there. And if you're on Facebook, go to facebook.com/PalmMashTV. And feel free to like the page, inboxes, comment on the things you see there. And you can use good old-fashioned email, palmmashtv, all one word, at gmail.com. And it's great if you're a band or a solo artist and want to be on the show. But hey, if you're simply a fan, we'd love to hear from you there as well. So send us an email there. And all this is going to be recapped at the closing credits at the end of the show, so stay tuned for that. From Sacramento, California, we have Katie Fry with us today. A very talented and awesome artist, and I think you're going to agree. And we'll get to that in just a moment. But first, here's a quick word from Click Jam, so don't go away. We'll be right back.
We got history, got me feeling the nostalgia when you look at me, thinking about what could.
All right, everybody, it's interview time as promised, and with us from Sacramento, California, we have Katie Fry with us today. Thank you for joining us, Katie.
Hi, Paul. So good to see you.
Yeah, and we had a couple of, miscommunications and stuff like that, but we're here now. That's what's important. Why don't you start by telling everybody a little bit about how you got started in the music business? Because everyone has their own story, and let's hear yours.
Sure. Well, I'm kind of old to the music scene here, but also brand new because for about over 10 years, I haven't worked on my own original music, even though I've always been writing songs at home. And I just put out an EP, and I've been playing different performances this summer. But back to the beginning, I started to learn about music in middle school. My first instrument was the flute, and I played in the band. And then in high school, I played the piccolo, the little tiny flute, in marching band. And I became the drum majorette my senior year. That's the person that conducts the marching band during parades and football games. The halftime shows. And then I had a piano growing up, but I never took lessons. I sort of taught myself. And probably I was a teenager when I also learned guitar. And always the goal was to be able to write my own songs. So I kind of developed that way. And I played in a band in my in early 2000s. That was called the Katie Jane Band, and we played around, and that was fun. And then I sort of shifted gears a little bit. I went back to school through a program called the Music for Healing and Transition program, and I learned how to play the harp. Not a harmonica, but it's a 32-stringed folk harp, and I have wheels on it. And I became a therapeutic bedside musician. A certified music practitioner is what I'm called. So I play for hospice patients and memory care patients. Those are individuals with different types of dementia. So I might play songs for them that go all the way back to the 1940s. And it was really a unique experience for me to broaden my view of music. I've always listened to all sorts of different things, but actually using music in that way really helped me grow as a musician. And then during COVID, when everything sort of shut down and all of a sudden I was home and not working and thinking, what am I going to do with myself? I decided to do my music again. And so that's how I'm here.
Oh, okay. Well, you do a great job at it. I hope you're doing this for a long time there, Katie.
Thank you.
Um, tell us about some of the artists you grew up that really inspired you. I mean, especially in the mainstream world.
Sure. So I grew up in the 90s
Mhm.
and well, I was a little girl in the 80s, but in my teens, it was 1990 something. And there was a big shift in popular music focusing on the singer songwriter and more specifically the female vocalists. So you had like Jewel and Sarah McLachlan and Tori Amos, and I could just go on and on and on, but they all played different instruments, whether it was guitar or piano. So it wasn't just that pop singer that was on stage with the microphone only. And I was so inspired by that. And but when I was younger, I listened to a lot of what my parents listened to. I used to hang out with my dad in the garage, and he has a record collection, and he even had an 8-track player with some 8 tracks. And so I love music from the 1950s, all the Motown. I love classic rock, Neil Young, and I like Cat Stevens, and I listen to everything. Um, my musical tastes go all over the place.
Yeah, like you mentioned, Tori Amos, Sarah McLachlan. Yeah, those are pretty good artists. I can see how you were inspired by them. If anybody's watching us right now, they might want to know how to get your music and download it and so forth. Is there any physical copies? Tell us where you to download it and so forth. Let's hear it.
Sure. Yeah. So I have my website is katiefry.com. And on Instagram and Facebook, I'm Katie Fry Music. And right now I have my EP titled My California. It's on everywhere, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, wherever it is that you like to stream. I'm an Apple girl myself.
Okay. All right. Well, speaking of My California, that was the song we were going to do for you tonight, but she changed her mind, which is fine. But make sure you get all those, go to all those streaming sites you mentioned and download her music. I know she would love you for that. And the music video that we are going to show you is called One Foot at a Time. I'm sure there's a story behind that, but let us know.
Yeah, so the song One Foot at a Time is about empathy. And I was kind of inspired by that quote, we all put our pants on one leg at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And actually the song was an older song that I had that I pulled back up and started to play last year. Obviously, the whole world has kind of gone through a lot of changes, and there have been a lot of things happening in the world that are hard to swallow and disheartening. But also, we're all human, and everybody, like, if they could just get in touch with their empathetic side and kind of think before they speak or act to someone that they don't know, that you don't know what the person's background is. You don't know what they've gone through. Maybe they're having a bad day. Just treating everyone respectfully and being kind to each other, and just beyond race and politics, if everyone could just tap into that empathy. So I created this music video to go with the song, and it mostly shows everyone's feet. And I wanted to just, kind of illustrate all these different perspectives and different ages and people of all walks of life, and the imagery to kind of speak for what the lyrics in the song say.
Okay, well, it is a great song. I'll listen to it other, and I know everybody out there is going to agree once they see it in just a moment. But before we get into that, I think that's all the time we have for right now, Katie, and we thank you so much for coming on the show. We'd love to have you back sometime.
Thank you, Paul.
And we're going to watch that video now. Here it is, Katie Fry with One Foot at a Time right here on Paul Mash TV. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
I know I'm different than you. try to understand what it is I